Alrighty, so we're back here on some more Warframe, and really I don't know what I'm going to do today actually. Pretty much for the most part, I still need like basically just companions, some miscellaneous things here and there. I still need the rest of the Kodo weapons, I still need to get the Tenant weapons, they're all the way down here. Somewhere. Where are they? Where are they? Man, they're actually quite far. Yeah, there we go. The Tenant weapons. And I still need kick guns and Zals. Those are like the big bulk of what I need. Thing is, with the kick guns and Zals and just some of the companions, it really feels like I'm trying to do research in a lab as some sort of scientist, trying to figure out how to make your left hand specifically bigger than your right hand. It's confusing stuff, really. So it's just going to take me some time to actually look into it and see what actually I should make. But I also still do need some Duviri weapons, actually. Gosh darn Duviri. I don't even have like any good frames right now. All these kind of stink. I mean, they're good frames, they're just not any that I have actually built up. I suppose we'll just do some Isle Weaver runs, because really I think Isle Weaver is more relaxing or chill than just regular Duviri. I don't really care too much for actually playing as Operator or Drifter. I enjoy my time more so in Warframe, actually, as the Warframe. But anyway, for today's topic, I thought we would actually kind of talk about extraction shooters, because really there's a lot of just conversations about what the next big... I don't even think I have a build for this Verona, do I? A little bit, but not too much. I guess I'll just go with the default. I don't even know what I'm doing. Do I even have any good weapons up here? Not really. Okay. Oh, okay. I got Okina Prime. That's something at least. Am I on the Steel Path version? Is there like no one doing Isle Reaver right now? Well, this is kind of depressing. But anyway, I figured we would talk about extraction shooters, because there's just been a lot of conversations about what the next big, I guess, genre of gaming is. Because for a while it definitely was battle royales, but I don't feel like battle royales have been popping off too much lately. Sorry, I had a little bit of a burp right there. Battle royales just, I don't know, there's not really been any sort of major battle royale that has come out in years, really. It feels like with battle royales there was kind of like the four horsemen, really. There was Fortnite, there's Apex Legends, and Warzone, and PUBG. Those are like the four big ones, the giants. And I guess Warzone was like the last one that came out. And really, all four of them have kind of fallen ever since then. They're definitely not at their peak. Fortnite used to be like almost like a top game of the world, really. It's still probably not as big as... Hold on, I actually gotta pay attention a little bit. I guess we'll go with that, sure. Fortnite was still definitely not as big as Roblox or Minecraft, probably. But Fortnite at its peak was probably at least in discussions for one of the largest games. But battle royales the past couple years, they really haven't been doing too much. But for really years at this point, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe, seems like people have been saying extraction shooters are the next big thing. And there definitely does seem like there's been more of them coming out recently, or at least in development. But I just don't really think I don't think they'll ever be the next big thing, and there's a few reasons for that. And really the main reason is just that it does not really appeal to a broad audience. More specifically, it does not really appeal to a casual audience. Now, pretty much every game has like its casual players and its more hardcore dedicated players, but extraction shooters, it seems like casual players tend to just really fall off quickly, at least more quickly than other games. I don't know how I'm using Verona. Oh yeah, like has Hunt would be nice. What does her 4 work? Oh yeah, I don't have the augment for this. Well, that's not good. What does her 2 even do? Is this the invis thing? Oh no, that's the 1. Oh, but it broke invis like right away. Now with extraction shooters, it feels like there's only been, I guess, 4 pillars that really kind of stood out. There's Escape from Tarkov, probably the biggest extraction shooter. Then there's Hunt Showdown. Hear about it some, not too much, but it does seem like there's a fair bit of talk about it. It's definitely not a small game. And then there's Marathon and Arc Raiders, which have come out more recently, Marathon being the latest. Arc Raiders had a very big launch actually, and really, I mean, the numbers for it seem pretty good. And then Marathon, definitely lesser so, and it's really just been falling off a lot recently. Comparing the 4, like, quote-unquote giants or pillars of extraction shooters to the 4 giants of battle royale really is just no competition at all. For the extraction shooter side, Tarkov is probably like hard carrying. Maybe Arc Raiders was. I don't know how it is right now. I think I've heard complaints about cheaters. I know Tarkov definitely has had its fair share of cheaters. Marathon, I've heard about cheaters as well. Don't really think I've heard too much about cheaters in, hold on, what was I thinking about? Hunt Showdown. Now, there probably are cheaters in Hunt Showdown, but I at least have not really heard about it compared to just the other three, really. Now, I also just don't really get how people could say extraction shooters are the next big thing, and at the same time say that it's a niche genre. That does not really go together. That's a pretty conflicting statement, or contradictory statement. Now, some will definitely say like, oh, but Arc Raiders absolutely blew up. Yes, it did, but part of that is because it is an extraction shooter, but it's also not really an extraction shooter. People don't really consider it, or rather Arc Raiders is so casual really that people don't even want to consider it an extraction shooter, because really a big part of extraction shooters is that it's PvPvE. And with Arc Raiders, how many times have you come across someone else or another squad where they're like, oh, don't shoot, I just want my loot, man, I'm friendly, I'm not gonna beat you up. It seems to happen quite often, really. Maybe not as much now, because probably the more casual players have left, and really just the more hardcore dedicated group is left. But in Arc Raiders, it was really like almost looked down upon to engage in PvP, which is not really common for an extraction shooter, because again, what makes an extraction shooter is, number one, you load into a map or match, and if you die, you lose all your loot. But also having PvE and PvP, because really, if you think about, probably the best way that a extraction shooter will get the most amount of players is if it only has PvE. Like, heck, I would probably try out Marathon if it had a specific PvE only mode. Thing is, at that point, you're not really an extraction shooter, and you're kind of more of like a roguelite, because correct me if I'm wrong, is that not really what a roguelite is? Basically just a PvE extraction shooter? So I think that's why Arc Raiders got so popular, is because it's got so much more casual focused that really people don't even consider it an extraction shooter. It's kind of treated as more of a roguelite. And then Tarkov, I think the reason why Tarkov got so big is because it appeals to a very narrow group, but that narrow group is very large, if that makes sense. Because there have just been so many people that I know of that just do not even really play games, but they play Tarkov and they're like a veteran or just a gun nerd. Because Tarkov is very, very hardcore, very kind of tactical, realistic milsim, that type of deal. It leans heavily into that, and because of that, it appeals to a very narrow group, but that is a pretty large group. There have just been so many like veterans and gun nerds that I know that play the game. And then Marathon, where again, we're kind of seeing with its player numbers just so slowly dwindling down, which yes, it does happen with every game. But the question is, how much of a resurgence in player numbers will it actually get when some sort of big update drops? And of course, the bigger question, what is actually going to happen to Bungie? Because yeah, extraction shooters are a niche genre, and I'm sure that Marathon is a good game for what it's trying to be, absolutely. And if it was not developed by a AAA studio, it probably would actually be a success. If it was developed by an indie studio, it probably would have done very well, really. But it's just kind of odd for a AAA studio to go for a extraction shooter when typically AAA studios are like the most profit focused. That doesn't really mean to not try an extraction shooter, but an extraction shooter is definitely an odd choice. And then I know that there have been some extraction shooters canceled. I remember one of them, I forget what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like some sort of Titanfall extraction shooter, and hearing that, I was kind of like, okay, honestly, I'm glad that it got canceled. I forget when I heard about that, but that was some sort of like EA layoffs or whatever, and one of the canceled projects was some sort of Titanfall project that was supposed to be a extraction shooter. And to me, it really just kind of sounded like Apex Legends, but extraction shooter instead of Battle Royale. And Titanfall fans, they definitely do not want a extraction shooter. They want a continuation of the Titanfall 2 story, and they want that classic Titanfall 2 multiplayer, probably. Maybe I should do a video on Titanfall 2, I don't know. I don't know if it's safe to play, because I do know that there was some sort of hacks going on a while ago. There is that North Star client though, so I could try to figure out how to actually do that. I always hate trying to figure out these mod packs or certain clients and servers, because it really sometimes I'm just wanting something easy to actually do and follow, and sometimes they can really just be a headache to figure out. Feels like I'm doing homework. But I think the question really is, like, what is the next big genre for gaming? And really, I don't think there is one. I think we're in just like the era or age of variety, really. I feel like we're almost in an era of just lesser known studios popping off, or newer studios popping off, because Marvel Rivals has been doing pretty dang well ever since it came out, really. I know, balance aside, yeah, balance is questionable, but still, the base game, the formula, the blueprint, all that, it still is really good. It's just balance is questionable. But I mean, NetEase, I don't think they've really done too much of like anything big before Marvel Rivals. I've definitely heard of them beforehand. I think they were just like a mobile game developer, and now they're one of the big guys, I would say, for games, really. Or at least one of the big guys that actually has like a pretty big game. Because Call of Duty's going downhill, Halo's gone downhill, Battlefield's gone downhill. A lot of the older gaming giants have really gone downhill. Well, it kind of seems like we're in the age of just like indie doing very well, and kind of like newer or lesser known AAA studios. Like, what's the Baldur's Gate 3 studio? Was it Larian Studios, I think? It seems like gone are the days of, was it Epic Games and Activision and EA, Ubisoft, out with the old and with the new, really. But in terms of like specific game genre, it doesn't really seem like there is one. And really, I'm all for that, because hey, variety is nice. Although I do think it is kind of sad to say, I don't really think we're in like a... There just really have not been too many FPS games that have been coming out, really. Not that there's absolutely none, because there is Mouse PI for Hire that came out recently that people have really enjoyed, and people really made fun of the IGN review, of course. I think it really does kind of feel bad for first-person shooter multiplayer games. In terms of single-player, indie, yeah, you always got options, but for just multiplayer, not too much. Like, all I've really been playing is Warframe. I've not been playing too much else. Destiny 2, I mean, I loved Destiny 2, don't get me wrong, but I've not really been playing it too much for almost a year, because it's just not really getting too much content, and the content it is getting is pretty small and just honestly not that great. Just kind of apathetic towards the game at this point. I mean, I talked about it in my previous video, but I don't really mind the era of gaming that we're in right now. Some people try to say that gaming's dying. I kind of agree with like multiplayer to an extent, but in terms of single player, absolutely not. The only thing that's really dying is the older studios, the old giants of the gaming industry, which I do not really mind too much at all. But anyway, I think that's about all I've really got to say for now. Haven't been up to too much, so just some Warframe here and there. Not going at it too hard, just taking it easy. I really just try to relax in my free time, because work is pretty exhausting. But anyway, I'll pretty much just see you guys in whatever I do next, and hope you all enjoyed. We'll see how much longer this LR6 grind takes me. If it is LR6, that's the max. It might be LR5, I don't know. Maybe it is LR6 now. I know it's LR6 for Founders, at least. Can you get to LR6 as a regular player? I don't know. I'll figure out.